Cam is coming up.
Has to be that, yeah.
I can't talk about it.
Well, you just answered my question.
Why isn't
Well,
Facebook coming up?
Apparently getting pretty bad shape. I don't
What's
know.
wrong? I mean,
He's got a heart issue.
What is
So
my
that-
deal logged into
PVC,
multicam?
Wes Williams?
Continues, Larry.
Premature ventricle deal.
Yeah.
I was thinking he had AFib, which you can correct pretty easy, but the medicine ain't working. He's had it for about 2 months.
Has he ever had an ablation?
Why am I not
That's what I was
live
asking
on-
him about.
Okay, we're
Wish
live
I'd
on
have had
Facebook.
We are right now?
Yeah, we're live.
Throw it up. Okay.
We're live on Facebook, and I'm gonna enhance it to.
Can you make my eyes green?
There we go.
I want a little.
Are we on?
Y'all wave. Are we
Okay.
live on Facebook, Scott?
On YouTube, yes.
Facebook.
Facebook, loading.
I'm seeing it live.
Golly, no kidding.
Yeah, we're live on Facebook, and I'm gonna share it. I'm gonna share it to memories, live videos, new and old, and what else you want to share it to?
CBS.
And what am I supposed to type in on Facebook? What is it? Fort Worth.
Yeah, forward memories.
Do what?
That'll definitely get it. Why don't Wednesday
Oh,
get
no,
it?
it was the stream. I muted it on my end.
Okay. I can't find Wide Open Wednesday and sometimes other days. Can you find it?
Yeah.
For y'all listening, hang loose. We're going to be, if you can find Wide Open Wednesdays
Well, there I am.
And other days. It's other days.
and other days. There you are. Okay, so Wes is not with us, boys and girls. Hal J.
Yes.
and Hugh Haywood,
Haywood.
and myself, we're live. Y'all don't need to see me. You see me about 10 times a day, every day. Okay, so
Oh,
sorry,
come here, sit on my lap.
sorry, sorry that Wes couldn't make it.
I want to start off by saying this is the greatest Fort Worth museum I've ever been in.
Well, you had really, we got bikes and toys everywhere. Every year I give away bikes. This is the 38th year, and we're going to give away 1,200 at Farrington Field, December 14th.
I
Is
may
that right?
need one this year.
A box?
A bike.
A bike.
Yeah, bike.
It's called Larry's Kids. It's a
1,200
501c.
Yeah.
And there's one of the flyers.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, look at that.
Did you ever find Wide Open Wednesdays and sometimes other days?
I'm searching.
Okay, so
I'm searching.
Hal J is in, Brittany's in, others, George Worley, legends. I don't know about me, but there's 2 legends here. Does the sound good?
We're
For
legends.
different reasons, yeah.
You know what I want to say, and I don't want to step on any toes here, but
Ow!
back during when we were looking for Bin Laden,
Mm-hmm.
I used to love the wacky Iraqi.
The wacky Iraqi.
How did y'all get away with saying that?
Well,
stuff?
that was a different time.
You
Different.
couldn't do it today, right?
No, we couldn't do. There's a lot of things. All the characters that we used to do probably couldn't. Even Haywood Yasumi would have to watch out for what he's.
Nah.
Even though he never cared about it, he would have to watch it. You would have to watch it today.
Yeah. Willie Landon,
Willie
and
Landon,
Sam
all the-
from Sales.
Well, you know, a joke is all jokes are kind of to the expense of somebody else. in the
Right,
group.
yes.
All jokes, and so the world has learned learned how not to take a joke.
Right.
I don't care if you're black, white, Indian. Well, it makes no difference. Everybody has learned how not to take a joke.
I hope that all changes in the next few years.
Yeah.
I think that pendulum's,
That
going
might,
forward
that
up that
might,
way.
yeah. I
How
think
much
Bring it on
have
back.
we- how
It
much
was
have-
funny.
How much have we laughed together?
Oh, I don't know.
I saw him. I went to his wedding in New Orleans. We're all standing around waiting for the preacher to come do the wedding, and we're down there in kind of a courtyard, a beautiful little area, great spot to get married. And all of a sudden the gate flew open. Here comes a guy in a robe, barefooted, and ready to do the service. I looked at Hugh. I said, "Is that the guy that's going to do the service?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "You're not going to be married very long." And he wasn't.
Let me tell you this story. That guy was a pizza delivery man. That I'm not making that up.
Oh, come on.
He had a robe on. He comes in barefooted, and he marries us. And we're not married. I mean, it's all over.
It's unbelievable.
That night she said, "No honeymoon. We're not married." I said,
Yeah.
Damn, But we were not married. We had to go get married somewhere in Dallas. Justice of the Peace.
Yeah.
And do it the following Thursday. I never told anybody that, except everybody out there now.
We
But that's
came
true
up with
story.
this character, Hugh and I did, called Hey, Would You Sue Me? And I said, you got to do, how did we get that?
Okay, I'm gonna tell you, and I'm still mad at you about this. He said, "Okay, I'd like you to come on and do maybe a funny lawyer character." I said, "Okay, but I'll tell you what, let's record it first. I don't want to do it live. Now, can you do that?" He said, "Oh, no problem. We can do that. You come in. I'll give you a day to come in. It'll work just fine." So anyway, the day comes. I'll get up early. I'm excited. Shower. Put on a coat and tie. Okay, and I head over to the studio. And I go up there and say, "Where are they all?" "Well, they're in the studio over there." Well, I go over there, open the door, and their eyes are squinting, like they've just seen the sun, because they're going, "Why are you dressed? What are you doing?"
what?
I mean, they all look like they came out of a collapsed mine. I mean, I don't think Lamb and nobody. You might not have had shoes on. What you did? Well, I go in there, all prim and proper, and I'm sitting there waiting. So anyway, the show goes on for about an hour, and I'm kind of, waiting to record my bit. And I finally look over at Hal, say, "Hey, Hal, when are we going to record my bit?" And he goes, "About 30 seconds." I'm going, "Hal, we can't record. You're live right now." He says, "I know we're live. You're going to go live." I said, "No, I'm not." He said, "I'm not going live."
Yeah.
He said, "Yeah, you are. 15 seconds.
That's right.
And then all of a sudden, I said, "I can't be Hugh Savage. I'll get this far." And he said, "Fine. Be Hey, Would You Sue Me?" And you're
That's where the
on.
name came from.
That's where the name
that
came from.
fast. And all I told him was, I said, because I knew he was the funniest man I've ever been around. I said, "Don't lose our license.
Yeah.
Just don't lose the license." And I said, "You just do whatever you want." And every one of them were gems. Every one of them, the letters that he played like little kid. Haywood, the little kids wrote him.
Hi, Haywood. Yeah, we do that.
Here's one from Little Billy. "Hi, Haywood." And anyways, everything was successful. I don't get it.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. When he did that to me, the first words I mouthed, I realize now nobody could actually see me. So my first words, two words. The first one was mother. I'll let you guess the second word.
Well,
I was so bad. I knew my radio career was over right then. I was thinking I get in the radio, go from rags to riches. Well, actually, true story, I went from rags to just one rag.
just wait. Yeah, it's but God, the memories. Gee whiz.
Oh, John Hanson, John Hanson, did all the characters.
Is that the guy? Yeah, you told me about
he
him.
did Sam from Sales and Elvis and
Wacky Iraqi.
the Wacky Iraqi.
I
Yeah.
love that character.
The Wacky Iraqi. Yeah.
It's funny how all of this stuff, since I've been doing my deal, my podcast, a guy named Paul, the Icky Twerp's son, Paul Canfield.
Paul, yeah.
Paul lives.
Bill Canfield's son.
Yeah, so
He's a genius.
he lives in Oregon or somewhere, and they just now come out with some T-shirts and stuff. But he told me the story. All of those Icky Twerp deals were done off the clock.
Is that right?
Yeah, they didn't
Just-
get paid for any of that stuff.
No, they didn't.
And
No.
I mean, it was amazing.
Well, the spontaneousness of it all was just phenomenal, and it all worked. And Eric Harley came in and did a bunch of character
Oh, he was
voices
great.
for
He
us.
did. Look, my favorite was Steve Lightning. And this reporter.
and this
yeah.
reporter never got a thing right, and we just about made fun of everything.
But it was great. I mean, it was
Well,
y'all
you
were the
can't
show.
say that.
Y'all were the show.
You're kind of say that's what I think made our boss mad, because they were it was more popular than the newscast.
Yeah, it
we were a
was.
news station, and we weren't known for news, and he
Right.
wanted us to be news. And he came in one day, and and I like his name was Tyler Cox. Wonderful man, what great guy, wonderful man. He goes, I think it's time we do. He's back on the. I said, what do you mean? He's back on the characters. He goes, well, it's just it's the same stuff over and over. And I said, you're the boss. You're the boss. So we dropped him for a while. Then all of a sudden we wanted to do a Throwback Thursday.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember that.
And they were just recordings. Sometimes you'd still
come
come
in
up
there,
yeah. But to do them nowadays, because my boss that I have now, he says, "What do you think about doing the comedy bits or trying to come up?" And the way I did all that, the way Hugh did it, and all the guys, it was spur of the moment.
Yeah.
We never said, "Okay, you say this now, and I'm going to say this, and then you say that." And you just none of it, nothing.
Best straight man ever. I mean, he just knew when to chime in. He was just, I mean, he made the bits.
Oh, stop.
Oh,
But-
they wrote them.
Y'all couldn't do those today. You'd offend.
No, we'd
I
offend.
mean, the Washington
And
Redskins
rightly
had
so.
to
We
change
should
their-
offend them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Maybe it worked.
we'd offend a lot of people.
I do have some good news. You may not know those.
Here we
the
go.
guy who did Sanford Sales and all those characters is moving back to Texas.
I did, John.
Within a year, he will
You're
be back.
kidding.
Yep. He's selling the house, moving back.
Where
Well,
was he?
we'll have to think about it. Now,
Where was he?
Well, if nobody else, you got to get John
Oh,
back
well,
on.
yeah.
Where was he living?
He was up in Indiana.
Oh,
that was his home up there,
Yeah.
and he always wanted to get back home. I think his wife wanted to go up there more than he did, so they packed up and went.
Yep.
so every morning I'd start washing cars when I was on West Fifth by Montgomery Wards, real early, and I'd listen to y'all. And that morning, 9/11, the guy says, "Hey, a plane flew into the World Trade Center," and
Yeah.
I'm going, "How could they miss the World Trade?" When they said the second plane, I said, I called my employees because that was.
That gives me
I said, y'all don't come in.
that
get
gives
your
me
kids.
goosebumps because I knew after the second one,
Yeah,
and we were monitoring it on TV and live on the radio, and it was hard because I knew at that moment we're at war.
but
It
they
was-
kept
it was- I
saying
get goosebumps
they
thinking
kept
about
saying small airplanes.
Yeah, because they didn't know.
Yeah,
They just didn't know. That nobody saw it. They started looking up there. What god dang, a small airplane's crashed into the, and they had no idea. And then bam, and the world changed right there in front of our eyes.
and the next day it was so quiet. There was no planes. I mean,
Yeah,
I'd walk outside
Well,
at 7
everything was
o'clock in the morning.
grounded.
Yeah,
I
Everything
never
was
said that
grounded.
was scary.
Yeah.
Nope, nothing.
that was really
Yeah.
a different time.
Air Force One took off and flew around. They had to refuel in the air, and it was a big deal.
There were guys stuck in Mexico.
Yes.
Been down there. Mark
That's-
Davis.
Yeah,
He was down there for a couple of weeks, I think.
yeah, I think so.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a strange time.
Yep.
And then everybody started. You saw flags everywhere, back of trucks, in cars, and that didn't last long.
Who was it that said this? I can't remember who it was that said, "How do you end the way America is feeling now towards each other? Everybody hates each other
Right.
in America." Who was it that said this? I forgive me, I can't remember. But they said, "How are we going to stop this hate? How do we fix America?" You go, "There's only one way to fix it. That's with a disaster." And I thought,
You know that's true.
I think about it.
You know, we could unite the world if Mars would just invade us.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
all-
Think
then
about
we're
it.
all
Then
one
we're all together.
And then we're all one again.
You just got, that's the way you unite. You're
When-
exactly
when-
right.
when
As crazy as that
when
is.
Japan attacked us, they said the recruiting lines were
Just went crazy.
Yeah, you couldn't get it.
Yeah.
You have to come back tomorrow. We're full
Yeah.
today.
Everybody quit sports. Everybody quit doing. They all signed up. Back movie stars had guts. They were all signed up.
So we had Wes Stevens. Was he the publisher at the Star Telegram? Wes,
Oh no, Wes. It was. I can see his face. Sorry, Wes.
anyway.
Good friends, Wes. Okay, go ahead.
And I was asking him the newspaper. He said, "Well, there's always going to be a Chicago Times, Los Angeles, New York Post,
Uh huh.
but around here, there ain't going to be one." You know, that Fort Worth Report does a real good job.
Fort Worth Report does a good job.
They're an excellent
They really are.
read.
Yeah.
and
It's just straight news.
yeah, it's straight
Yeah.
news. They got a lot of. I've interviewed all of their reporters. They're all young, hungry for stories.
Yeah. Well, that straight. If you can find a straight news place.
I think Wes Turner runs.
Wes Turner.
Wes
That's
Turner.
what it
Yeah,
was.
that's
runs
what.
Fort Worth Report.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does Wes run the Fort Worth
Yeah.
Reporter? Well, it's
That's
excellent.
I heard.
It's
Oh,
excellent. It's not
awesome.
news.
Yeah.
And that's what's so wrong in the world today is the business I'm in, the media, especially the national media. And I always tell people, I said, when you watch NBC, ABC, CBS, MSNBC, it makes no difference. Fox, when they go to let's go get a live report from so and so and so and so. Well, here you go. With the first time they use the words "I think" in a report, it becomes an opinion.
Right.
That's not news. That's an opinion. Well, people take it as news.
Yeah.
That's what's wrong. They take it as news. They think they think the View is news.
Right.
They think, and not using them, I'll say they think the 5 on Fox is news. They
Yeah.
talk about news,
Right.
but it's all opinions.
You
And that's not
know,
news.
yesterday I was doing a live from the house before the football game started, and I said, I monitor CNN, MSNBC, and Fox. The only one 12 days after the election that even mentions Kamala Harris is Fox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That CNN and MSNBC did not say, but they had a lot of stuff about Biden,
Yeah.
but nothing about a lady that just gotten 73 million votes.
Well, they've let the far left control what the left wanted to do, the Democrats, the far left. Now you have the far right,
Right.
who broke into the Washington, to the Capitol.
Yeah,
Now, if you and I and Hugh went to break into the Capitol,
we'd still be in
what
jail.
do you think's going to happen to us? Well, the first thing is we're going to get shot.
Yeah,
No,
We're not- we're gonna get
I'm
shot.
probably going to wind up with a boyfriend.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
You're going to hate Friday.
I really hate Friday.
But so so all that was, they let him in to do but Trump screwed up there too. All he had to do was go out of the front porch immediately and say, "Stop it, go home," and he didn't.
yeah.
He screwed up, and
He's learned, I think, this new cabinet he's got in, which,
he's cleaning the swamp. He's draining the
He's
swamp of
draining
some
it.
of them. I don't know about some of them, but it's none of my business. I just report on them. But
When Bernie Sanders says he's going to work with them, and I agree, those high payday loan deals, a lot of
Yeah.
people, probably more of the population than less, has to use that type of sources, and they're paying, some of them are paying 100% interest.
Bernie Sanders, I hate everything he stands for, but you know why I like him? He has no problem telling the truth and how he feels.
Yeah, no, that's true.
His truth.
yeah.
He'll
Well,
come out and say it. You know where he stands.
I wonder how they got him off, when they were doing their debates.
Yeah.
Bernie had the momentum behind him. What did they pay him and Warren and everybody else to get out?
It's all a game, and the reason I hate Trump, I don't know if Donald Trump really has a friend at all. He's got too many people that hate him.
Yeah.
It's a hate. And
Well,
so
that
he's-
voted against him.
Yeah.
They didn't vote
Or
for
did-
him.
or did he
Or
vote?
him, they voted
That's,
against.
I think that's what
Yeah.
happened in 2016.
I believe you're right.
You hated Hillary so much.
I believe you're right.
She's blamed everybody but herself.
Yeah, but it's a mess, and so he's draining that swamp. Well, he's got 2 years, and by the way, in case anybody's viewing this, well, how did you vote? I voted for Trump. I'll be glad to admit that, but I'll also tell you I voted for his policies,
Yes.
and not for his
It
personality.
wasn't a personality contest.
Yeah.
It was a policy
Yeah,
contest.
so I voted for his policies.
That's what happened to the Democrats. People don't have any money. They can't afford cable TV.
Well, and the millionaires and the billionaires and billionaires, they don't realize that the red states of America where people are hurting, because they don't hurt. You're sitting there in Hollywood in your $5 million home or whatever. You don't know what.
Yeah.
And they don't go to the grocery store.
What
They
do you mean
send
chicken's
somebody.
up to $10 a pound? So well, that sounds cheap to me.
Yeah.
That's
And they've never been in the grocery store.
so-
They
Right.
got their people doing that.
so you have
Yeah.
two separate things going on here
Yep.
in America, and I'm
The
so glad-
majority is starting to realize how bad it hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what did it.
The one thing I've never figured out is why Biden didn't cut off the border.
Yeah.
I never understood that.
That was for, well,
But
it was
they're gonna
for
get votes?
Valley representatives, yeah.
Yeah, to
I
get
mean,
votes?
the more you get into Red Cat, the more representatives you get.
Yeah.
And how they gonna vote.
Yeah.
Democratic,
Yeah.
okay? That was the game plan. It had
Yeah.
to be. What else? How did that help you?
But everybody that comes in is immediately on welfare.
Yeah.
I mean, that's us. I mean, we're paying for it.
Oh, health care, welfare, you bet. Free school, come on.
Ann said she needed a new phone. I said, go down to Mexico and then come back across the border. You'll get one.
Plus a debit card, 35.
And a debit card.
Yeah. So let's
You could use both.
talk about
Okay.
let's talk about Jerry a little bit. Jerry's kind of under the gun.
Jerry,
Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones.
Yeah, that Jerry.
So we were at the radio station. This is just last week. That's weird. You should bring that up. And one of the questions from a listener was, well, if you were in charge, would you hire Jerry Jones to do anything? I said I'd hire him in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I said he's turned $150 million into $10 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah, would I hire him in a minute? But he needs to realize that I guess it is the culture. I've never believed it, but when you sell tickets to go watch the Cowboys work out and let people come in and watch them work out and everything, and that's kind of a circus, you don't do that. Don't do that.
Well, he's making his money.
$100 million a
Well,
year.
yeah,
selling
but you
those
get Paul McCartney go sing in there.
Yeah.
Or you get all these concerts
Oh, my
they're getting in
gosh.
there.
How much they make on that fight?
I
Oh,
don't
God.
know. There's nobody.
Well, there are a lot of people making
Everybody
that.
made a
There was
ton of money.
people paying $2 million for a seat.
Yeah.
$2 million.
I only paid $1 million. I don't
See,
understand.
you cheapo.
I feel bad about that.
You cheapo.
I had to sit behind front row. Sucked.
That's one thing about being in radio. In the radio, if you get to a point in radio, you never have to pay for a seat or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a good thing. It's a good extra little extra because you can get a call up, you get hey with the media, we can, you know, but even that's all changing up to now. You know, so I didn't even call to try to get it. My grandson Hudson was playing football Friday night,
Who,
which
by the way, is going to be an All-American.
was,
Maybe his freshman year.
he's
How tall is he
a
now?
freshman. He's 6'6",
6'6",
6'6".
16.
16.
Just turned 16.
But he's 6'6".
Uh-huh.
Wow.
He's just like his daddy was. His daddy, God bless him, his daddy was 6'6" or 7", 310, 320. Lineman for TCU.
Oh, I met him. On two
Did you?
different- yeah.
Good.
I met him with one of Carter Llewellyn's sons or daughters or something.
Oh yeah, Carter and
Yeah.
little Carter and him were great friends, growing through school together and everything.
In fact, your son, I was over on, I guess, I was either downtown next to, wherever my shop was. Carter Jr. was dropping off, little Carter was dropping
Uh-huh.
off his car, and your son picked him up, and I met him.
Yeah. Hey, did a guy ever named a friend of mine? I love him to death. You know a guy named Ken Link?
Yeah,
Did he ever bring your?
yeah,
Ken told me, he goes, you got to start taking your cars to Larry to
Yeah.
get them, you know. And the reason I never have, because your reputation is remarkable. Because I just didn't have that much time to take it down there and drop it off and sit
right.
around.
He told me that.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Excuse me, didn't you, wasn't there some political guy, you cleaned his car? I remember you gave me his name coming in earlier. He was
Who?
a former, like, I don't know, president? Is
Uh-oh.
that it?
Oh.
What?
George
Listen.
Bush.
You did his car?
Yes.
No kid.
Yeah, they sent him over from Dallas.
We used to have a lot of fun together. I just like I'm name dropping. I don't mean to, but when he owned the Rangers,
Yeah.
all that we had to. That's what BAP. We broadcast all the games. Got to know each other. He's a fine man, good guy, good guy. He was always. If I asked him to go on the air with us, he'd drop everything he could to do it.
Y'all went to Pompano Beach together for spring
We went,
training.
yeah.
That was fun, or what?
Oh
Is that
God,
it?
we had a great time down at Port Charlotte.
Oh, okay.
Port Charlotte. Went there, and before that was Pompano.
I thought it was Pompano.
Oh, yeah, there.
I
And
wasn't
Port-
there.
And Port Charlotte, and
I was busy.
it was a lot of fun down there. You know.
Yeah, I post a lot of pictures of when his mother threw out the ball and when his
Yeah,
father
yeah.
was there and him and Nolan. So we were talking the other day about Harold Taft. He played in a band did they play at the ballpark for free, or was it the Cowboy game?
Harold Taft's band?
Yeah, that little group they had.
Okay,
Somebody told me
picture
a
of that.
story.
I've never. I don't
Somebody
know anything
told
about
me
that band.
somebody told me a story that they would play the national anthem or something, and I think it was at the Turnpike Stadium or maybe the next ballpark, and whoever bought the team fired them on the spot and said,
No more.
"No more. This is it, dudes."
Makes sense.
And they weren't getting paid. It was just Harold played some instrument, didn't he? He did.
Gosh, I don't know. I know that
Uh,
Harold Taft. He used to do the weather for us.
Right.
You know, every afternoon we were doing a double shift in the morning and afternoon, and Harold was the afternoon weather guy from Channel 5, and so he was late getting to the microphone, and I started doing the weather. And we're having some weather like today, kind of moving in.
Yeah.
And I was doing the weather on the radio. I was looking at we had a radar in the control room and all that, and he comes in. I heard him get up to the mic, and he shuffled back. I said, "Harold, are you there?" He goes, "Yes, Hal, I'm here. I'm here." He goes, "Hal, I'm gonna make you a deal. I'll never try to spin records or play country music if you never do another weather forecast." I said, "Okay, deal," because I butchered it.
They had a lot of fun on that. I remember as a youngster, and there was a lot of us. My grandmother, I'd say, "I'm going to bed." "Can't you go to bed till we listen to Harold?" I mean,
Yeah, oh yeah.
he had a following that was unbelievable.
it's
Women loved him.
Yeah,
Older women.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Harold. He's our guy.
Yeah.
I remember one time distinctly, he had predicted all this weather coming in, and it didn't rain, and all the other newscasters wore rubber galoshes and
Yeah,
rain suits.
right, yeah.
He said, "Okay, I get it, I missed it." But he was doing that before they had all this Doppler radar.
Oh, I know it. Yeah, but he was right about the women. The women loved him. My grandmother would get naked and watch him on TV. I mean, it was just, no, I'm teasing. God rest her soul.
Yeah.
So,
When I was a kid, he
No
lived
pictures, eh?
he lived out in Richland
want
Hills.
pictures? I know what
Hold on,
picture.
let me get-
No, no. I've seen him. I don't want
Okay.
to see. No.
He lived in Richland Hills, and his biological son Ernest and I went to the same school together.
yeah.
But then he was married to a Haltom City
Well,
gal.
I got pulled over for speeding going to Dallas. Our studios are in Dallas now.
Right.
Got pulled over for speeding, and the police officer asked me where I'm going, and I said, "I'm going to work." He goes, "It's 4 o'clock in the morning." I said, "Yeah, I do a radio show." And he goes, "Oh, you do?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "What radio?" I said, "WBAP." He goes, "What's your name?" I said, "Hal J." And he went, "Harold Taft is my grandfather."
Wow.
I went, "Good gosh almighty." And he had already written the ticket out. He goes, "I can't tear this up." I said, "Give me the ticket. I was speeding. I don't mind paying it." And so it wasn't him. It was golly, I can't remember his name.
Wasn't Harold Taft?
No, it was Har- it was
Or it wasn't a cop?
It was a cop,
Okay.
but it was last name was Taft.
Raphael.
Raphael.
So
Yeah.
now he's a fireman, I think.
Is he really?
I think he was he's on my group.
Is that right?
Right. And
Hello,
his,
Raphael. How you doing, pal? Give
and
me a
his-
ticket.
And his daughter was, Harold's daughter was on our group. Ernest, me and him got into a fight in grade school, and he ain't never, but Ernest was the guy that ran the Civil Defense Department in Dallas.
Uh-huh. No kidding.
That was Harold's biological son.
Oh, I want to know you got a ticket on the I-30 Speedway. There's nobody. I mean, they passed me doing 100. When I say 160, I mean 160.
I've got it in my phone, and I'd show it to you. Maybe you can dub it in.
I'd hang that on the wall if you got a speeding ticket.
I was coming home, and first of all, I shouldn't have done this,
Yeah.
but I saw a motorcycle coming up behind me,
Yep.
and I thought, I've got to, and I had to move quick. I got my phone turned on the camera to video it. So now I'm driving with one hand and holding a camera, and I'm going 65 miles an hour. My fault. Motorcycle went by me at, I'm going to say 100
Like you're standing
least.
still.
on the back wheel.
Yeah.
Oh, wheelie.
Yep.
I went, you got
I've
to
seen
be
'em.
kidding me. It's unbelievable. I-30 is a death trap. You've got to watch everything. You've got to, it's a bad highway.
The
Those
other thing
motors-
amazing about that is you saw a cop there. I've never seen a cop on that. Not that early in the
Yeah,
morning.
they used to hang out in Arlington a lot there by the ballpark,
Yeah.
and they'd get you on radar, but not nearly as much as it used to be. But it's a death trap.
Have you ever seen these motorcycle guys go in between two cars?
Yes,
that
yes.
I mean,
Uh-huh.
that's
crazy.
That's dangerous.
Yeah, it's legal in California. I don't think it is here.
Everything's legal in California.
Yeah, if you
That's
just
a very
pull
good
over,
statement,
I
yeah.
mean, they're coming up so fast. You know, I just kind of look, briefly
Yeah.
glance, pull over, and watch a motorcycle rider just go right over the
Yeah.
thing.
Somebody had opened their door, they'd take it off.
And you know what? As much as I'm getting to hate them, I hope it's me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah. I got a friend of mine I went to high school in Liberal, Kansas.
Liberal Kansas.
Liberal, Kansas, very southwest corner of the state, by Guyman, Oklahoma, north of Perryton, Texas, if you know where I'm talking about.
I know exactly where you're talking
My
about.
best friend got pulled over. He was driving. The cop wrote him out a speeding ticket. And he said, and it's a town of 16,000 people, so everybody knew everybody. He wrote him out a speeding ticket. He said, here, David, this is for you. Go pay it when you can. He looked at it. He said, yeah, I need you to sign. He goes, I'm sorry, I can't stay for the raffle, and handed it back and drove off. Oh, God, dang it, why'd you do that?
Can't stay for it.
Why'd you do that? Well, he pulled us over and took us down to the jailhouse. I did not me, but I had to go with David.
Does Mark Davis, is he still with y'all?
No, Mark is on. God, listen to me. Sorry,
He's on
Mark.
that station, yeah.
Not KLTY.
His birthday was 2 days
Yeah.
ago. I do know that.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
But used to, y'all had a booth at the stock show.
Oh,
and,
we had a ball.
And
We had
yeah,
a ball. Mark and I, we're still great friends.
What-
We went to Niagara Falls together. Me, Mark, and Steve Lamb. 3 guys going to Niagara Falls. What does that say? Don't answer it.
3 guys.
It's what I think.
Especially you.
Oh, what?
There was a guy out there one Saturday
Oh, it was
morning,
lovely.
and he looked just like John Wayne and talked like him, and he was friends with Mark.
Huh.
Might have been John Wayne.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't
Hey.
John Wayne,
Huh. I
but
don't
he
know.
looked just like him, and he came
Mark-
in that little booth.
But Mark's on the radio and still here in Dallas Fort Worth and doing gangbusters. Still writes a column in the Star Telegram, I believe, an op-ed at the Star Telegram, and very well known all across America as
He
a.
really is.
Oh yeah.
I tell you, did go down there. Celebrity, Buck Taylor.
But
Buck Taylor, Dooley.
Uh-huh.
He gave me a painting he did,
Yeah.
which is every bit as good as the Russell Rembrandt.
look at
Isn't
this.
it? I mean,
Well, you can't see it between
Up there?
There's-
I see. Is
that's-
that Buck?
Yeah, that's an original. Here's an original right here.
he is
Yeah, right there.
I got
awesome
75
guy.
originals.
Just a great guy.
You've got 75 Buck Taylors.
In my old museum on West Fifth, there was a Buck Taylor wall, and every year during the stock show he brings his trailer, his bloomer,
Yeah.
and we detail it, and he keeps his stock in there. Yeah, Buck's a great guy.
Well, he could sell them for whatever he wanted.
You know, his daddy, Dub,
Dub Taylor.
Dub Taylor. Yeah.
did 400 westerns, and the best part
that
he ever
wasn't
did,
enough. I loved
Hey,
him.
when he played in that Bonnie and Clyde, he said, "Boy, I'm glad your mama ain't here to see what kind of." He played JW or whatever.
Oh, he slapped the hell out
Yeah.
of his. Who was that goofy son he had?
Yeah, that was his son did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
And so Buck told me one time they live in Throckmorton
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
said, what'll it cost to do his dad got one of the first 7 Series BMWs ever to come into North America.
Real.
But it'd been sitting outside, and I said, Buck, I don't think you got that much money, buddy. You'd have to complete. It's a rust bucket,
Yeah.
but him and Goldie, yeah, they're great.
Yeah. Yeah.
He rides his bike, and he's got his little 32. He's a great guy,
Uh-huh.
great American.
Out there at the stock show, what's amazing, because to me Buck Taylor's a star.
Yeah,
I mean, he's a
Oh,
star.
yeah.
But you'll meet people, and they'll say, and it's happened to me that they'll say, "Do you know Buck Taylor over there?" I said, "Yeah, I know him real well." They said, "Oh, he's a superstar. What's he doing here?" I said, "He's handing out his.
just a regular guy.
He's just a regular guy." Just
and
a
you know,
regular
he
guy.
told me he was an extra the entire time he was on there.
Really?
And he told me the true story. I said, how did all y'all get on there? Buck went to art school at UCLA,
Yeah.
but they were surfers. Matt Dillon, James Arness, and the brother that was Peter.
James Arnett's son is like a world championship surfer, or was.
You're kidding.
So he said, Buck said this guy would come down Highway 1 or whatever on the coast, and he finally pulled in, and they were all there cutting up, drinking beer or whatever. And he said, any of you guys ever do a headshot? And it was John Ford, the producer.
Sure.
and that's
I'll be darned.
how it
Oh,
started.
shit. John Wayne, the Searchers, yeah.
Yeah,
I
So,
think that was it.
but this is great right here. This is what you have here is
well,
you read all
it
these
needs to
books,
get on
Larry?
display.
Yes.
Yeah.
We need to come in here and read all those books. There's what, 1 million of them?
yeah,
I can't even
Yeah.
believe this. You got the original Dixie Chicks.
yeah.
The
Laura
Patrol
Laura
Girls.
made that for me. She'd come over here real early in the morning. I'd go over to her house over there in Rivercrest and interview her.
Yeah.
She was something. She was good gal, great gal.
Well, I got to BAP. I came back from Memphis. Ann and I lived in Memphis, Tennessee for 7 years.
I didn't know that.
Yep. We were both born and raised in Fort Worth. I moved to Kansas for 5 years to go to high school where my dad and my stepmother lived. Came back and we got married as we were 20 years old, moved to Memphis.
What year did y'all get married?
1973.
Okay.
1973. I married the first girl that called me back. And she's at home now. I bet she's not going to be laughing at that. But moved back and went to KPLX. KPLX was turning into a country station. I was hired at PD as the program director. And 9 months later, Warren Potash, who ran GM at BAP, he was the boss. He said, "Let's go to lunch. Would you like to come to BAP?" And I thought, God dang, he turns that down.
Yeah,
And so that was 1981. Been there ever since.
first 50-watt station, 50,000.
50,000.
Yeah.
Would you mind elaborating a little more on that about there was a guy on the radio there that you had little dealings with? Yeah. I don't know if you remember.
Tell me who?
Well,
I had
he did
dealings
the
with-
Late Show. He did the Late
Oh,
Yeah.
I can't talk about Bill Mack.
Bill Mack.
Bill Mack.
That's too funny. You got to talk.
I can't do that.
It's too hilarious.
Bill, God rest his soul.
You can talk about him then.
Yeah.
This is funny.
Look, Bill Mack was doing the all-night shift. I was the program director. I was driving home. Ann and I were driving home. It was late at night, 1 o'clock in the morning, so I don't know. And I want to preface this by saying it was not uncommon to go up to Broadcast Hill. We're on the east side of Fort Worth.
Right.
And walk in and see Marty Robbins or Willie Nelson or somebody sitting. They just stopped in to say hi to Bill with their guitars and then pick all night. It's unbelievable. Well, I was listening one night and I walked in there. Bill wasn't on the air. I went, "Where's Bill?" So I went in, and the guy in there, I said, "Who are you?" He goes, "I'm filling in for Bill." I said, "I'm the boss. Who are you?" He goes, "Well, I run the Texaco service station across Interstate 30 over there." I said, "Where's Bill?" He goes, "Well, he's down the street at a hotel." I said, "Okay."
That's a loaded question.
So I called him and fired him. Next day, my boss said, "Did you fire Bill back?" I said, "Yeah, I sure did." He goes, "You can't fire Bill back." I said, "Well,
This
let me
is
tell you what-"
Potash now.
Yeah. I said, "Let me tell you what he did." He goes, "I don't care what he did. You can't fire Bill back." I said, "Well, midnight to 5 is yours then. I'm not going to try to keep that straight because that's kind of a zoo. Even though it was a great zoo, there was nothing like Bill Mack's show when he had
Yeah.
the country music. They'd just drop in. It was like the Grand Ole Opry had left Tennessee and they'd say, "Hey, let's drop in and see Bill Mack."
Yeah.
It was amazing. But yeah, that's a true story. So yeah,
Well, that's how you became.
And that's-
how you got on there.
that's how I got on the air. And when I wanted to fire Bill, my boss said, "We're going to make a change in program directorship here. We need a morning drive guy. You're going to do mornings." So that's how I got on the air at BAP and met Dick Siegel as well. He was at KPLX. I said, "You're going to come over here and we're going to get you a Bell Jet Ranger and do traffic." And so one thing led to another, and that's how we got together.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was 1981.
You know, you talk about 50,000 watt stations. As a kid, everybody in the country would say, "Let's go to Mexico," stealing granddad's car. And of course, you'd lose all the radio stations, and you're sobering up, going, "Hey, let's just turn around and go back home."
Except for one.
Actually,
Del Rio, Texas, Wolfman Jack.
Dick's right.
you doing?
Yeah.
I had a friend who was a Delta Airlines pilot. They were over Greenland coming back to America. I think it had been in Iceland. They're over Greenland, coming back, and he called me from. I don't know how he did it. There was no cell phones at this time or anything, but he got a hold of me through the cockpit of the airplane, and called me at the radio station. Said, "I've got you plugged in through the cabin. We're picking you up 30,000 feet over Greenland. Say hello to everybody."
Wow.
So we did.
Yeah.
You know, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. It was a hell of a feeling, knowing that they were up over Greenland and had a plane full of people.
Wow.
Well, WAP reached Canada.
Oh yeah, yeah. It
Oh,
go
yeah.
everywhere. It doesn't anymore because there's a lot more signals now, and I think there's a couple of 820s out there other than BAP now.
And do you know the story, the real story of when Mr. Huff that worked for Eamon?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and Eamon says, "I'll invest $50 in
That-
this deal, and that's it."
Yeah, that's I've read it just like everybody else, and it was a let's roll the dice and see about this new fandangle thing
And
called
then
radio.
on top of the Blackstone Hotel, they broadcast "Dancing to the Stars."
Yeah,
I mean, it was something else. And they always say Eamon or somebody here came up with "We Bring a Program." That was done in
no,
Washington.
that's Harry Truman.
Yeah.
No, wait
Not Harry Truman. That was the
a minute.
Secretary of
It was-
Transportation
It
or
was
something.
was it Harry Truman? We bring a program. No, wait a minute.
"We Bring a Program" was
Yeah,
the call
that's
letters.
what it means.
But it was because you had to register your radio station.
Yes.
So
of course,
Huff
yeah.
went to Washington, and it was
It was
the
1922. So
yeah. And they assigned that number to
Yeah.
to BAP.
Yeah, yeah. There was,
And-
I think there was 9 radio stations that got that around the country for the sake of safety.
Yeah,
So all these stations, 9 stations, covered the entire country.
yeah.
You know, us, WLS in Chicago, and I think NBC and WNBC in New York.
When did FM come along?
FM started hitting hard in mid 80s, probably. The mid. I'm gonna guess maybe earlier than that.
Yeah, I remember, you know.
We had FM, I'm gonna say
High school
late
and college.
70s, late
Yeah.
70s.
Yeah.
So as a kid, 16 years old, I'd go to the Friday night dance at Holiday Roller Rink. Marky Baby.
Marky Baby,
Mark
Mark
Stevens.
Stevens. Yep, that's who I wanted to be when I was growing up.
He wore Beetle boots,
Uh-huh.
and then he went down to Houston, right?
I wanted to be 2 people when I got to radio. That was Mark Stevens was one of them, Marky Baby, and another one was John Landecker on WLS in Chicago. I think they're the 2 best broadcasters I've ever heard. You know, funny.
Mark Stevens was funny.
Yeah.
Well, Stevens and Pruitt down there in Houston.
Oh,
Yeah.
good
Pruitt
gosh.
was funny. Oh, God, that was funny.
Yeah, Jim Steve, he called me up one time. He goes, "Can you tune us in?" They were on, what station here? They were on,
KFJZ or
no, they were on the FM.
Oh,
I can't remember. Anyway, they were. He goes, "You got to hear this next bit." So I tuned them in. We were able to tune any radio station in the control room. So they're talking about this guy who had lost all of his arms and legs in a horrible bear hunting accident. And Jim said, "Well, but he still loves to do the thing he likes to do most." And Mark said, "What's that?" "He loves to hitchhike. It's just he has to be real excited about where he's going to." I started
That
laughing.
sounds
So,
like it.
Doesn't it? They'd come up-
Bofus. I remember
yeah,
that dude.
exactly. But it was
God.
Jim Pruitt and I.
Way back, yeah.
We ate dinner a couple of times together at the old Spaghetti Steakhouse of the north side.
Warehouse, what?
Yeah, the old Spaghetti Steakhouse, the old Spaghetti Warehouse.
was it the old train deal?
Yeah, with
Yeah.
the train. Yeah, it was over there in the,
The
north
car-
side.
yeah.
Big red building. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. And then I went to school. A guy that graduated after me was John Dillon. Did you ever meet him?
Jack Dillon.
John.
John, I didn't know. I
He
knew
was
Jack Dillon.
he was on KZoo or something
Yep.
when FM was really starting to.
Yeah. The zoo. Yeah,
Yeah, radio's come a long ways.
it has.
Yeah.
It's come a long way. It's having the time of its life in trouble right now. I say in trouble because of none of their wrongdoings, but streaming and podcasting and going to apps and listening has really taken away from the listenerships on the radio itself.
Right.
still have as many listeners, but they're not as like on the radio.
Right.
So we're having to deal with all that kind of stuff now, and learning. They're having to learn how to get a BAP listener or a KSCS or the ticket or whoever it may be. They're working on getting. If you're listening to them on some other form that doesn't send a signal to where it picks up the ratings so they can rate you,
Right.
they're working on how to do that. That's it's really cut into the.
Doesn't iHeart do all that? I mean, you can pick up WAP in Europe if you got
Oh
the
yeah,
app.
yeah. You got all the app and everything.
But they can't figure out the ratings?
But what? Well, the problem is you want to get credit if somebody listens like that.
Yeah.
And all the services don't offer up credit for listening, and so that's what they're working on to get. There may be 1 million extra listeners.
My
listening.
next $1 million idea.
Uh-huh.
You heard it.
There it is. I mean,
We'll figure it out. I have that ready this afternoon.
well, there might be 1 million people listening to us.
Yeah.
Or KSCS or the ticket, or we have 6 stations here that they don't know about
Right.
because they're not listening on something that can pick up the ratings. So it's really hurting our business right now, but it'll survive.
But you know,
It'll survive.
radio, the different stations would come up with different deals. Old Ron Chapman,
Yeah.
KVIL. I'd
Well-
chase Susie Humphreys around
Let me
in
tell you.
Fort Worth. I'm at this Albertsons. Come get a free cowboy ticket.
Yeah.
I said, she's a liar. She's not here because I'm here.
One time when I was at K-Plex, I was program director. This guy pulls up in a brand. I saw him. You can see who pulled in the parking lot. Pulled in the brand new Lincoln Continental. He comes in, coat tie, and the front desk called me. They said, "There's a guy here that needs to talk to the program director." I said, "He's in that new Lincoln." They said, "Yeah." I said, "Send him in." This is out, no appointment or anything. So they sent him in, and we're sitting there talking. And I said, "What can I do for you?" He goes, "This is the darndest thing." He goes, "I'll think of these songs in my head, and I'll start writing them in my head and singing them, and I'll turn on the radio, and they're there." He goes, "I think something is, or somebody has bugged my car or done something to my brain." I said, "Well,"
Wasn't Hugh, was it?
I've heard of this
That was
problem.
me.
I've heard of this problem before." And he goes, "You have?" I said, "Yeah, it's kind of common." I said, "There's only one person I know that can take care of that. It's KVIL radio. You need to go over to Dallas and ask for Ron Chapman, and he can get all this. He knows how to handle it all." He goes, "Okay, thank you." He drives over to KVIL in Dallas. About 2 hours later, Ron Chapman calls me. He goes, "Did you send me a guy that thinks he has a radio in his head?" I said, "Yeah, you son of a boop." He goes, "I'll get you. I'll get you someday. I'll get you."
Oh, he
That
was
was my
something
favorite
else.
thing to do.
Yeah, him and Susie Humphreys. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got to where they were the first ones, I think, that did the boat cruises.
Yes. Yeah. They did that a lot. We did a lot on BAP too. I mean,
Yeah.
and I've been around the world because of that. But they started it. Chapman was an innovator on a lot of things.
Yes.
He did a lot of things right, and he learned from everything he did wrong. So he was
just a
great.
good guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy. A lot of people would say he demanded excellence.
Jody
You know-
Dean's told me that.
Who?
Jody.
He's
Dean.
my cousin.
Jody,
Jody Dean is a cousin.
every year my bike giveaway for the last 4 years, he plays Santa Claus.
Does he really?
Yes.
Well, Jody and our family, very, very distant, but we're cousins. And so I've known Jody for a long time, and so Jody will say the same thing. Chapman, it had to be right.
Oh, yeah.
It had
Oh,
to be. There was no slacking on that, and a lot of people took it as he was just a butthead. But I've been around Ron when he was strung up, and I mean that in a good way. Strung is that, guys, we got to get this right, and so that can be good or bad, it's depending on how you take it.
Right.
So I mean, I've got bosses that can be good or bad, depending on how you take it. But they're doing their job. That's all they're doing. And my boss has been very good to me. We've had not crosswords. I've said, "What are you doing that for?" Well, Hal, here's what. So, but like I said, when we lost Josh and had a heart transplant and all that stuff, they called Ann. They said, "You just whatever you need, you take it." You know, you need 3 months, 6 months, whatever you need, take it. And so I'll forever be in debt to Dan Bennett and
he
Bruce
kept our group.
Collins.
We did a daily deal about you. How's Hal doing?
Oh, is that right?
And I said, let me call
You
you.
mentioned this to me a long time ago when it was. There's 3 channels. What's the other channel? The Facebook, YouTube, and
Yeah. The
no, it's not
might have
called
been-
you.
not
What?
the Ticket or Twitter you talking about?
Yeah. What? It?
I don't think I use Twitter.
No, it's Facebook.
Instagram, no.
No, Facebook. You just told. We told Ann. Anyway, it makes no difference.
Might have been MySpace, yeah.
MySpace.
It was, no,
Yeah.
it wasn't MySpace.
But
I was doing
Hugh,
them on Facebook.
Hugh,
yeah.
Hugh,
Okay.
Hugh and Wes kept us up to date on your status.
Thank you, bud. Thank
Yeah,
you.
not a
I
problem.
love you. I love you. We've had a lot of fun. A
Because
lot of fun.
so one of them said, he's not leaving until he gets a transplant. He's staying there.
That's what I was saying. You
And
know,
I said,
and
well,
I'm going.
He
You know,
might. You always hear about this list, and I'm going. He might not leave.
I was. They told me I was going to be in the hospital 2 to 3 months, and I got lucky. I was. It took them 10 days, I think, to find. I was in the hospital 35 days anyway, and it took them 10 days to get me a heart.
So I asked everybody that I thought might know you. Do you know who the donor was?
No,
They
I
don't
don't.
tell you that.
all I did was on there. I said, as big as he is, all I can tell you is the donor must have had 4 legs. And
I will tell you though, I think the donor came from Arizona, and because one of the nurses, I believe, slipped and said that one night in my room when they even thought I was asleep or drugged up or something. And this is the truth. After I got the new heart, and remind me to tell you a story about that even. When I got the new heart, a day or 2 after that, I wanted jalapenos on everything. Everything.
you know, then I
And
need a
you
new
didn't.
heart.
You didn't want that before.
No.
Yeah.
Nothing. And then, okay, so Arizona, jalapenos. I told Ann, and we both said, well, you must, if there's DNA in a Hispanic, you've got it.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that, excuse me, I'm not saying that to be
No.
anything other than thankful.
Yeah.
If it was, it saved my life. But I haven't got a hold of them. And I had breakfast with 7 or 8 other heart transplants now over at Baylor in Dallas, because we all had the same doctor and the same experience. It's really amazing what went on during that heart transplant, and I fell in love with the nurses and the doctors. That they were so smart. It's unbelievable how smart they are.
How long
Yes.
that procedure take?
How long did the heart? 4.5 hours. I went into operation. I went into surgery at 1 in the morning. Got out at 5:30. Dr. Raphael, if he ever sees this, I love you. Dr. Raphael called Ann and said, "This went great. The heart fit perfect. Everything is perfect on this." He goes, "I'd come down and talk to you, but I got to do another one in 15 minutes."
Wow.
I don't believe that. That's the part I heard. I'm going, I need to take
It's 5:30 in the morning. He just did one.
Yeah.
But when they come in, and you can hear the helicopters coming in with transplants, with the organs, when they get there, they got to do it. They can't put it in the refrigerator for a couple of days, wait for the doctor to get off the golf course. They got to do it right then.
So are you a donor?
Am I a donor? No, I'm just, I can't. Am I a donor signed up to
Yeah.
be? No. I
can't
was,
be.
but I can't be
Oh.
because of diabetic. I'm type 2 diabetic.
Oh.
And so I've got a lot of things against that, but yeah, but it was a hell of a, in fact, there was a time I had to go back to the hospital. I got an E. coli and UTI, urinary tract infections.
those are more serious than I thought.
God dang it.
Yeah,
And I've had 6 of them.
yeah.
Been in the hospital twice with them. I had to leave the TCU game on a stretcher one time. Got to the TCU game feeling great and said hi, went upstairs, said hi to Brian Estridge and Monty Cook, and came back down, sat in my seats. Game kicked off, and I looked over there and said, I don't feel very good. 15 minutes I was on a stretcher going to the hospital.
Wow.
That's how fast the UTI hit. But anyway, where was I going? I was over there in the hospital, and one of them came back up there. I do all the nurses and everything. You get to know all those people because you lose all sense of humility and, it's like a woman giving birth to a baby. You lose. They. So I'd have nurses coming in, poking and prodding and shaving me and all kind of stuff to do things, which I'd have to tip them.
Yeah.
But and it'd pull out a 20 for me.
Yeah.
But anyway, one of the nurses, she goes, Mr. Harbuck, why are you here? What's wrong with your heart? I said, nothing's wrong with my heart. Everything's great. I said, I've got a virus or an infection of some kind. She goes, Mr. Harbuck, do you know the last time I saw you, I was giving you a bath? And I went, I thought I recognized those hands. And she started laughing, and all the other nurses started laughing. And it was a great experience. Deborah Ferguson from Channel 5 came up one day, and you have HIPAA laws. You can't tell anybody I've got a sore throat, or you can be sued now.
Yeah.
She came up one day with a TV crew and everything to film, and at the door they said, you can't come in here. I said, let them in. I invited them. They wanted to do a story. Well, the HIPAA laws, I said, no, the heck with the HIPAA laws, let them in. I want people to know this. I want to tell the story, and because I may be able to help somebody. This wasn't, look at poor, pitiful me. This was me wanting to talk about
Get
it
the
to
word
the
out,
world.
yeah.
I wanted, and I still to this day would talk about it to the world anywhere, because it changed my life. It's
Right.
it's unbelievable. I was going to retire, and my bosses said, please don't retire. You take whatever you need, don't retire. And I said, well, okay. So, and I'm so glad I didn't, because I'm having more fun I've ever had. And it's like you can feel that second chance at life God gave you. You can feel it. It's hard to explain, but
I've got a similar experience.
do you? When I died. I actually died a time or two, and it really, it's hard for Ann to get past it, because she's here on a heart transplant, plus her husband's dead on the tape,
Yeah.
whatever. But there was a point when I was unconscious. I could feel God and Josh on my left shoulder.
Whoa.
They were just there. I didn't see any faces. There was no bright light or nothing like that. But their spirits were sitting on my left shoulder. And I knew it was them. It was the most peaceful feeling I've ever had in my life. And to this day, I still have it. Nothing upsets me.
Now, was this at the hospital or at your house?
This was at the hospital.
Okay.
This was at the hospital.
Right before the surgery?
Yeah.
Or during?
Yeah. Right
Okay.
before, yeah. Because I hit the ground at my house, and my doctor, God bless her soul, our doctor lives across the street from us. And her husband's a doctor too, they came running across the street, couldn't find a pulse, but got me going. So,
There's another miracle.
Here's a story.
it's unbelievable.
You remember when they were having the fires at PK?
Yeah.
You got a house there.
2011, yeah.
I either heard it on your show or somebody's show. So an insurance company guy came and said, we can spray something on your house and it won't catch fire. Was that you?
No, wasn't me.
Have you ever heard of that?
Never
I know
had.
I didn't
I don't know of
dream this
anything
up.
I don't know of anything that you could.
He said, whoever said this, and maybe it was just somebody pulling my leg, said they spray this stuff and it's all you got to do. It cost $35,000 back then to have it cleaned up after all the fires are out everywhere.
Yeah.
And the person that they asked, I thought it was you, but maybe it's somebody else, said, why would you even ask me? Hell yeah, spray the stuff on there. The house is worth a hell of a lot more than $35,000.
Oh, yeah. No, it wasn't me, because my house and the house on either side of me out there, perfect. Not a piece of wood out of place. Every other house around us burned.
Really?
Every one of them.
What caused that fire? Did they ever find out?
Yeah. What caused it? Was it a
Match.
match? It might have been a grass. Might have been a cigarette. I can't remember. Maybe a cigarette cooking out or something.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything. But I didn't even have a singed piece of grass.
Really?
And there's 2 houses down. There's this is one. Yeah, 2 houses down. It burned so bad the refrigerator, everything was melted.
Wow.
Yeah, but nothing in our house.
I don't see how they have any trees left in California at all. They have them fires out there and they last for a year.
Yeah.
That's something I really never worry about.
Well, start.
Okay, I'm really
You know,
not worried about it.
That's because the environmentalists won't let them clean up.
Yeah,
around
that's the
trees.
whole deal. That's what
They say.
All that
all
brush
said.
is
Haul
all
it
that
out.
dead brush.
It's all dried, dead
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Environmentalists, you can't clean that up.
Yeah. It's too pretty. It's dead.
You know, Rex Benson, Rex owns Old South, and he's building his
Yeah.
bar in the Macaroni Grill. It's Rex's Bar and Grill.
Uh huh.
So he's a member of my group and sponsor on a lot of stuff. Gives us bikes every year.
If he's listening, I love you. I love your off. I love your food. So
And I said, "When are you going to open?" You know, and he said, "We got to plant 9 trees." I said, "In the concrete?" And he said, "Yeah, dig up the parking lot and plant these." And I mean, it
Ridiculous.
wasn't no 5,000 or 10,000. It was a
Oh, my
lot of
God.
money. He said, "I finally got it down to 5 trees."
why did he take down trees?
No,
Because if you take down a tree, I believe the law says you have to put up a tree.
no, they didn't. It was a solid parking lot.
Okay.
He didn't take down
Yeah,
any
because I've been
trees.
in that place a lot.
Boy, and he's building, the back end is going to have a patio that'll seat a couple of hundred
Uh-huh.
people. And it's supposed to be open now any week.
Yeah.
You can get past the zoning and planning. I mean, it's a mess here.
Well, the reason, if Rex is listening, I can go ahead and tell him it's a compliment, is that his pancakes and syrup and butter are one of the reasons I had a heart transplant. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, Rex.
I remember
We'll be
waking
getting
up.
the petition in the mail.
There you go.
I remember waking up many morning about 4 or 5. They'd say, "You're sober. Get in your car and leave." I mean,
Yeah.
and then time went on, and I quit drinking. So one time I was over there real early, and the college kids used to always come in there, but now they're wearing pajamas.
Yeah. You remember the beaver lady?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wait a minute.
Wait, you remember the beaver?
Elaborate on. No, I remember.
Well,
the
she
big-
just had a. She's
2 big front teeth.
Yeah,
yeah, and they called her the beaver lady.
those ladies were real nice in there.
No,
Now,
everybody still
Oh,
is.
she's a waitress. She was beaver.
Yeah, she was a
Okay.
yeah.
I went to the Montgomery Street Cafe for the first time the other day.
She
That's
goes
good.
and the German pancakes.
yeah,
And to this, I still love them. I can't eat them because of the diabetes, but
I was talking to one of the waitresses over there, had been there a long time, and she said we were talking about the COVID when they finally let them start serving. You couldn't go in; they'd bring it out to your car or something.
yeah,
And last time I interviewed John Bonnell, I said,
Yeah, I was
when
thinking
you
of
do when you did that deal 4 for $40 or whatever, that was a
he
blessing.
saved a bunch of restaurants
He really did,
with that curbside service, and he saved a bunch of people.
and he gave
But that's
They
the kind of guy
remembered
he
it
is.
too. Yeah.
and he gave
Good
credit to the Texas Alcohol or the governor.
Yeah, yeah.
They said serve drinks to go, whatever it takes.
Yeah. Well, he did, and he saved a bunch of people's livelihood.
Let me tell you what.
Don't you think?
Absolutely. But what really picked up is Labowitz over there, off 7th Street, had the liquor store.
Yeah.
He'd go in there and that grin was way too wide. Because morning drinking picked up a lot over there. Going there, it was no problem to pick up that handle, at about 8 in the morning. And he said, "How business?" "Oh, just terrible."
Yeah.
"Yeah, okay.
Uh-huh.
I'll get you."
Yeah.
Whatever.
Oh, Jack and Harry. And
Oh, yeah.
Sheldon. We used to have a clothing store over there that Sheldon and Al Sankry and Larry Shoes, they owned the building, and man, they were powerful. The old guy,
Was
Texas-
Al Sankry a doctor?
no,
No.
Al Sankry, Al's Farmer Wear.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh yeah, okay.
And
yeah.
then Larry Godinsky or Larry Goodman, Larry Shoes.
Yeah.
And so the
I used to buy all my shoes at Larry's.
Oh, that. I was just thinking of that.
Yeah,
It's the only place we'd go.
I know it.
friend of mine came into town one time and he said, "What's this shoe place?" And I said, "It's a pawn shop." He said, I wear a 15 double E, and I said, I'll make you a bet right now he's got more than one pair. And he said, if he does, I'm going to give you a $100 bill. So he walked in. I said, Larry, you got anything 15 double E? And he said, yeah, probably 10 or 12. I said, give me the 100.
No kidding.
Oh, yeah, he had them. He had the inventory.
That's greatness.
If it was wide or short or slim,
Yeah.
and those guys, they really, that was,
Then we all went to Crocs.
yeah.
Crocs.
Yeah, great
I never
idea.
had Crocs.
Crocs.
I never had them.
What the hell happened?
So I'm fixing to start a radio interview deal with pro and con for gambling casinos.
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
your opinion?
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't have one. I know that we don't have any in Texas yet
Right,
because gambling is illegal in Texas.
right. But you can,
But
you can buy the lottery. You can get on your phone.
I know it's
and make-
weird, isn't it? It's
And
weird.
it's not
Mattress
regular.
Mac down in Houston spends millions betting on the Astros and the Rangers, and I don't know how he does it. I guess he goes across the state line.
Well, he
Oh,
did.
no.
He won that one game
Yeah.
with the Astros last year.
Yeah.
He's got 90 million to flitter away.
Yeah,
You can gamble on your phone.
I know it. I
I
don't
thought they
understand.
stopped you here. If you
No.
tried Fandangle or
Really?
FanDuel or whatever.
I don't know how that
I
works.
just heard that.
There's several radio stations across America now that are betting radio stations. That's what you do. In California, I know they have several up and running. Whether it's successful or not, I have no idea.
But with the Adelsons owning the Mavericks now,
Everybody says they know something.
yeah.
Well, he's betting on it.
Well, I interviewed one of the guys from the Choctaw Tribal Council.
Uh-huh.
I do his cars, and I said, why did y'all buy the ballpark? He said, we're going to dome it as soon as gambling's legal and have one of the biggest casinos in the state.
No kidding.
That's what he told me. And he said, Larry, our kids don't drink liquor anymore. We send them to Harvard and Stanford.
How about that?
And they own the largest casino
Oh, I know.
in
It's
the
huge
world.
in the world. Golf course, they've got everything up there.
I'll
Yeah.
tell you who wouldn't be very happy about having casinos gambling here.
Who?
The state of Louisiana and the state of Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah.
That's the
Oakland.
deal.
I think that's a big deal.
Our friend Charlie Guerin,
State rep.
state rep.
He's on my board, Larry's
Is he?
kids.
Charlie and I were talking about one day, and it makes him just sick to his stomach. All the money goes out of the state of Texas, and I said, yeah. I said, I understand that. I wish the money would stay right here in the state of Texas if you're going to gamble. My problem is, I don't want it 10 minutes from my house. I don't mind driving 3 hours to gamble in Louisiana, or an hour up north in Oklahoma.
Well, they say Fort Worth's not probably going to be in Irving. They say there's only going to be 4 or 5 in the deal. But the reason that I talk to a lot of people every day, is that lottery was supposed to give all this money to the schools, and it didn't. They lied to us.
Oh, yeah, isn't that the truth?
And so people are
It-
skeptical of that. It's like Kamala Harris. She told everybody, I'm the change candidate. Well, how do you figure that?
Yeah.
We've been having
That was the biggest joke.
so, but they didn't send all that money to the schools from the lottery. And so that, a lot of people, and then that Lieutenant Governor, Dan Patrick,
Yeah,
I don't think he'll ever let it go to a vote.
I don't. That's the key.
The two places I'd like to see them, Lubbock, just to piss them off, and Galveston.
Now, Galveston,
Galveston would be perfect.
Ooh,
Yeah.
they used to have a casino in Galveston.
yes.
They used to have a casino at Lake Humboldt.
Now, see, that would be perfect. Drive to Galveston to gamble.
Exactly.
It's a trip plus it's gambling.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not like up to an hour north.
Yeah, when all the global melting happens, and Galveston's underwater.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
And we're finally, a coastal city here.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's you've done.
Who
You
cares?
nailed
Do
it.
you
think
know
about
that
this
Amon Carter's big thing, I'm an expert on Amon, that he wanted done, he wanted to dredge the Trinity and have intercoastal all the way to the coast.
All the way to the coast.
Yeah, and that was in 48.
You got to be kidding.
No, that was his, I bought all of his memoirs.
It would have been known as Port Worth.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It could have been.
We could have had been Port Worth.
That's right. Wouldn't have to board Carnival down there.
Exactly.
With all those criminals we could get off down
But
here.
at that time, the Democrats controlled the state. Amon was Democrat, but the governor and everything, and it's just
Yeah.
too cost effective. They couldn't do it.
Well,
Amon couldn't
Republicans
raise
didn't
that
get
much.
in here for 100 years. I mean, Republicans kind of a new
How
deal.
long does it? How long do we go?
Whenever y'all are ready.
Tomorrow morning.
That's
Oh, I didn't tell you.
Hey, we
I
want-
gotta
we
go.
got a
Bedroll.
Can
Get
we do
going.
it?
We
Can
got
no,
it. Yeah, we
wait a
gotta
minute. It's
go.
been an hour. This
No,
has
it's
been
fine.
wonderful. Can we do it again?
Yeah. Love to.
I'm going to bring Ann.
It's up to you. Would you?
I'm going to bring Ann.
Okay.
That would be
Again, have fun.
fantastic.
Oh, I think she would.
I promise Laura Ingram won't be here.
I might bring my brother Craig too.
That'd be great.
Craig's a character.
Yeah,
Oh, very funny.
How can we
and
get
my son Carter. He'd love. I might bring family down here
that? That'd be
because
good.
this is.
And if we do it after the giveaway, which is the 14th, it'll be cleared out and we can look at the museum.
Okay.
What was I going to ask you? No,
Anything?
that'd be great.
Okay.
That'd be fantastic.
Than's for asking me, Larry.
Yes, sir.
Hubert,
Thanks for coming.
I love you.
Love you back,
Man,
pal.
it's great. His family, I love his girls.
Healthy as hell.
Yep,
That's
are they?
great.
They
No,
do good.
you.
Oh yeah, thank you.
You are great.
Yeah, I just got to have this little neck thing fixed.
Yeah.
When I hit the ground, I hurt my neck, and they were going to do surgery on my neck. And the heart doctor said, "Not,
No.
not now." So I got to have a little procedure done on my neck because when I hit, I had my spine and spinal cord.
And what happened?
Okay.
You fell where?
When he had
First
the
time
heart
at
attack.
racetrack.
Oh,
Oh.
racetrack. Okay.
3:45 in the morning, I fell and hurt my neck, and so now all the signals from my brain to my muscles, skeletal muscles, and like I got a little neuropathy here, it's not picking up all the signals. That spinal column is blocking them. It's called cervical myelopathy. Cervical myelopathy, and I had.
Can you even feel your feet? I mean, is that difficult?
My cardiologist and wallet doctor told me what it was.
Was it painful when it happened?
I don't remember it. I just hit the ground.
Have you, either one of y'all ever had that sciatic nerve?
Right here.
I've
Oh,
never
my
had to
God.
deal with
I
that.
stretched my way out of it about 30 years ago.
Is that right? They say that is horrible.
Oh, it's terrible.
I had to roll out of bed to be able to get it. Take me 30 minutes to roll. My wife
Oh,
would
it's
say,
horrible. Couldn't sit
What?
down, couldn't stand
"Oh
up.
no, it's the most horrible thing I've ever dealt with." You couldn't take enough Vicodin.
I've never. I know people that are saying the same thing you guys have said. I've never had to deal with that.
I don't know how I got it, but
No, it's bad.
it's.
But then the stretching worked. Man, otherwise, I was going to surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a surgery
L5.
for it?
Yeah. They do laminectomy. They do that. And probably going to do that for you, too.
Yeah. I think I heard that word
Yeah.
mentioned.
That's what they do.
Okay, folks. So
right.
I hope y'all enjoyed it.
Thank
Al,
you.
thank you.
Thank you. It was
Scott,
wonderful.
sign us off
Sure.
for you
All right,
too,
fun.
and I'll
All
sign
right.
us
All
off.
Hope you had fun.
Oh, good gosh, it was a ball. It was a ball. I thought we were taping something. I had no idea we were going live.
You was live.
This is. Do you have sponsors?
Yeah,
You sell it? Do
Yeah.
you get some
No, I didn't
advertising?
know. We got sponsors?
I sell
You know-
sponsors. Railhead is one. $1,500 a year, and I advertise their product every day.
That's so cheap, really?
It's cheap.
That's cheap.
If you know anybody, Charlie's been a sponsor for a long time.
This
Fort
is
Worth
just
memories.
fun to
Fort Worth
do.
Memories.
Yeah.
And also, he comes to the giveaway every year. It's December 14th, Farrington Field, 6 o'clock in the morning. We're going to give away 12